Дорогі відвідувачі і гості наших заходів, запрошуємо 127-му аудиторію. Ми розпочинаємо наш діалог про солідарність і співдружність наших країн. Щиро прошу займати свої місця. Прошу сідати на перші ряди, так буде зручніше для наших гостей і спікерів.
Okay, let's start. Distinguished audience, let me first of all introduce speakers that are present here. This is His Excellency Andrейs Pілдеговічs, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Latvia to Ukraine. Also, His Excellency Kарліs Жолс, Archbishop of the Latvian Evangelical Lutheran Church, and Arніс Šablовskіs, Latvian publicist, writer, and volunteer. I'm Mирослав Маринович, the Rector Advisor of the Ukrainian Catholic University, and I'm very glad and honored, first of all, to welcome you here at the Ukrainian Catholic University and welcome all people present here and also those who follow our discussion on the internet. First of all, I would like to emphasize that we have an honor to welcome not only distinguished persons, high-ranking officials, but also our good and reliable friends. Mutual friendship between our nations started long ago. And it seems to me that it started almost with instinct when two other nations happened to find themselves under the communist regime. I remember that at the labor camp in Perm region where I was held, Ukrainian, Latvian, also other prisoners commemorated some events, especially September the 5th, when the Leninist decree of terror was announced, and the 23rd of August, when Pact Molotov-Ribbentrop was held. We commemorated these events together, normally with 1 day hunger strike. Commemorated, of course, not as a positive events in our countries, but as a negative. Now, it seems to me that during the full-scale invasion of Russian army into Ukraine, we have the same instinct. We have the same instinct of danger for not only for Ukraine, but for Baltic states, first of all. But also we have a clear vision that this is not simply conflict between two Slavonic nations. That this is to some extent a civilizational challenge of Russia to return to the past and want to take the whole world back to the past. We all remember that Putin declared before the full invasion that he want NATO to withdraw in all these sphere of Stalin's conquests. So we Ukrainians are grateful for this unquestionable understanding of our situation and for the big military and diplomatic support of our struggle. Now I would like to give a floor to you, Mr. Ambassador, and we Ukrainians are very worried about one dangerous pattern, dangerous phenomenon. For almost 4 years from now, Western democracies have set their main goal not to escalate. We can understand that desire, but this policy in reality had an opposite effect and still has an opposite effect. Putin perceives such a policy as fear, and it is he who escalates. So is this noticed by those in the Western democratic countries who are decision-making people? There is a clear need to change that and to show the clear stand of the Western democracies to defend themselves. So what is your opinion? But you may also reflect on different things. I don't want to limit.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you, first of all, to the Ukrainian Catholic University for hosting us exhibition and this very important discussion. I think you're absolutely right on a few accounts. For us, we clearly saw Putin making a fundamental change in his strategy from 2007. That 2007 was the turning point when he started to behave differently. Actually, he was publicly stating that he wants to restore the grandeur of the Soviet Union, of the Russian Empire. And unfortunately, only Baltic states took it very seriously. And that was the time when we started to shout to the world that we have to be alerted, we have to be ready, and we have to take it this turn very, very seriously. Unfortunately, that time, nobody listened. And even when Russia annexed Crimea, Lithuanian ambassador was sitting in the UN Security Council, and she was banging on the table, and she was saying, aggression is taking place. very much as Saddam Hussein occupied Kuwait. Second time in the history of the world since 1945, since creation of the United Nations. One UN member state is trying to basically destroying another founding member of the UN. And this aggression, invasion, or war, we accept only three definitions. We believe that definitions matter in our lives and in legal terms and political terms, and this is aggression. Regrettably, in 2014, people were thinking, oh, maybe this is just a kind of aberration, maybe this is just a kind of miscarriage of justice, and just isolated case, and they didn't pay attention, they didn't listen to us. I think now, with very, very tragic events with the drama of the last almost 4 years, the world is getting better, but still, it's an ongoing struggle. When Ukraine's troops have more success, then Ukraine has more friends. When the Ukrainian troops has less success, then more countries are sitting on the fence and they are watching. And therefore, why we are here, why we are in Security Council in New York, because we need to mobilize the world. The world is busy with many, many issues. Island states are concerned about climate change. Some Arab Muslim countries are busy with Gaza situation. African countries are observed with wars going on in other places, terrible wars in Sudan, terrible wars in the Horn of Africa, in DRC, in Libya. But of course, for us, Ukraine is very special because unlike all other wars, we have about 30 conflicts going on around the world. But Russia's aggression on Ukraine is very special because this is mother crime of all crimes. It's a crime of aggression, and with a very specific goal to absorb, to annihilate another country, identity, language, citizenship. And the outcome of Russia's war against Ukraine will shape global war, global world order. We definitely understand that Venezuela, in the middle of this war, claimed that they want to control, annex parts of the neighboring countries, Guyana, Suriname, etc. We see similar claims in Africa. We see similar claims in Asia. So all bad guys, all bad players will use Putin's playbook if they succeed in their struggle. So therefore, we are trying to mobilize all forces. We are trying to mobilize, of course, Europeans. We try to show by our, not only statements, but by our actions, that we need to support Ukraine very, very strongly. And of course, political landscape is changing. We have elections here and there. We had elections in the United States. We are having national elections in Europe. New parties emerge, new players emerge. And it's very, very important to carry this flame. And we have to, as much as your soldiers struggle on the front, it's as important to keep diplomatic battles, visible and invisible battles. And my message to young people in Lviv and also to experienced people in Lviv is to fight those battles till the end. I might sound naive, but on my watch, during my 30 years of the diplomatic career, I have seen how with collective action we managed to change the tide. I told your students, when we were going for NATO, Senator Joe Biden was against. Senator Joe Biden and his staffer, Tony Blinken, was against our membership. they were saying they were listening to Russian propaganda, and of course Russians were saying that Latvians are genetic Russophobes, that we are Nazi collaborators, that we are Holocaust deniers, that we are troublemakers, that we are corrupt, etc., etc. And it took a few years, but at the end of the day, Senator Biden voted for our membership in NATO. Angela Merkel was against our membership in NATO in February 2001. In November 2002, Latvia got invited to NATO in Prague summit. So I'm not saying that it was easy. I was ambassador in Washington 2008. I had a mandate from my cabinet. I'm a Cold War baby, so I haven't experienced persecutions from the KGB. I was a bit too young, but I was 20 when Singing Revolution happened, and that before that, I was not certain that I will ever be abroad. It was Iron Curtain. I was 20, I was a university student, I was not certain I will ever be abroad. And when I was in Washington, my mandate was, we need to eliminate visa requirements for Latvians. So I came to Washington, I went to the Senate, and Dianne Feinstein, one of the senior senators, said, young man, what are you talking about? Migration is such an explosive issue as today, as then. And she said, she gave me a book on the terrorism, and she said, read the book and forget about visa waiver. 1 year later, I was standing in the Rose Garden of the White House, and Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, Czech Republic, and South Korea, and Slovak Republic, we were granted visa waivers. So miracles happen, but if we persevere, and I'm not saying that it was easy. I'm not saying that it was mission impossible, but with concerted efforts, we managed to change this tide. So I think this is what we have to do here. I volunteered to be ambassador in Ukraine myself. New York was important, Washington was important, but now Ukraine is the most important place to be, and I will do utmost to ensure that people in America get it, people in Asia get it, in Africa, Latin America, etc. But never give up on your struggle.
Thank you very much for your optimism and your commitment. It's very important. If I may, I'll put one more question. We have had a feeling from the very beginning that after the full invasion, the whole security system in the world was undermined. But security system is not an abstract notion. There are institutions that represent it. For example, the United Nations or Security Council of the United Nations, even Red Cross and other institutions. And we see that to some extent they are paralyzed now. For example, Security Council, because of this veto principle, is almost paralyzed. What do you think about the future of these institutions? How do you analyze?
Well, I don't represent UN mafia. I don't claim that multilateral diplomacy is always very effective. Latvia was a captive nation when UN was created in 1945. But having said that, we are living in a world of 8 billion. We are 193 members of the world. From the tiniest Tuvalu, 11,000 people, to 1.5 billion Chinese. And we are representing small country. Ukraine is a medium-sized country. And of course, I get these questions as well very often in Latvia. You know, why we have to be there? Why multilateral, etc.? My answer is very simple. In the 20s and 30s, 100 years ago, when Latvia was regained independence, established modern state, we were healing the wounds of World War I, terrible World War, Great World War. That time, our leaders thought, we better be quiet, we better be invisible, we better be neutral, we better be non-aligned. And the thinking was that this is the method, a kind of Swiss model or neutral model. This is the way how to generate wealth and not to get into the big mess between big powers. That experience for us ended up with a triple rape. We were raped by the Soviets, we were raped by the Nazis, we lost 1/3 of the population, and we lost 2 generations of statehood and freedom. So when we regained independence in 1990, 1991, when we got rid of the 50,000 Soviet troops, 50,000 Soviet troops in every parish of Latvia except 2 little places, we had bases. When we got rid of them, we said never again, never look back. We have to be part of European core institutions. We can't change geography, but we have to be with the mainstream. And being there, we try to change the mainstream according to our liking. But for us, it's very clear, we will never be silent, we will never be non-aligned. And we try to change institutions from within. You might not like Antonio Guterres, but it's not the point just to whine or just to bitch that everything is bad, everything is hopeless, he doesn't get it. What I did, I brought 13 EU ambassadors with me to Antonio's office, and we had 2-hour discussion about Ukrainian identity, about Ukrainian language. Not enough, we had to do more, but this is what I told to my countrymen. If we are on the council, we choose new Secretary General. Antonio Guterres' mandate is expiring next year. Latvia, for the first time in history, will be doing job interviews with the next Secretary Generals. So we will have a stake. If we are by the table, if we are active, if we put money and energy, and we feel we put passion and we provide our best talents, there is a hope that we can change institution. If we don't do it, then these institutions will be poisoned by Russia, or they will be hijacked by China or by some other bigger players. So it's not easy. It's variable geometry. You have to make partnerships. You have to convince others that you listen to the needs of others. But I am confident that if we are vocal, if we are united, if we are credible, then we can still save institutions. But it's the same as for the European Union, same as for NATO. We have to be very vocal, we have to be very active and very committed if we want to use these institutions for the sake of humanity and for the sake of smaller countries. We don't have nuclear weapons, and in that sense, this multilateral diplomacy, international law, international cooperation is our weapon in diplomacy.
Thank you very much for your clear realistic vision. Your Excellency, I have 2 difficult questions for you as well. My first question is the following. The Russian world doctrine. We know that some Orthodox theologians had a clear stand about that doctrine, that it is heretical and non-orthodox at all. But I have a feeling that the challenge of this doctrine, of the Russian world doctrine, is not the challenge only for Orthodox people. The challenge for the whole Christianity, for all of us. And I'm expecting that all Christians will find a way to express their common vision that this is not only heretical, but also very dangerous doctrine for the whole world. I'm dreaming about something as it was at the beginning of Christianity, some ecumenical councils, some common voice of Christians. Do you think it is realistic, or we will be in our confessional houses and not being able to be together?
Thank you. Yes, this is a very difficult question and very important question. So, as you may know, as you may well know, when the full-scale war started, there was this gathering of Russians in Moscow, some kind of square. I don't remember the name of the square, and Putin was, having his speech in this. No, it was the square. It was stadium. It was some kind of stadium, a sports stadium. And we all saw that back then, and also still right now, for many, many Russians, their Orthodox religion, and I don't think it's the fault of the Orthodox religion as, at the whole, but whenever religion comes too close to politicians and to the statehood, there are problems. And that's what we see also with today's Russia, when Russian Orthodox Church is so much aligned with today's politics of Russia, and so much against the real Christian values, which honor life, which honors, our neighbor as ourselves, so to say, as Jesus Christ teaches us. And so, as you already mentioned, we see this distortion of Christian faith at the moment with the Russian Orthodox Church, which is based in Moscow. And what to do in this case, in this situation? In Latvia, and as I know, the same has happened in Ukraine. The Orthodox Church has, the Orthodox Church of Russia, of Ukraine, I'm sorry, has distanced itself from the Moscow, and right now there is an independent Orthodox Church in Ukraine. The same is right now in Latvia and in other European countries, because we cannot allow this situation be in our countries, that church is a voice of aggression and a voice for war against Ukraine, for war against humanity, as a matter of fact. So we have seen these kind of situations in the history in the Second World War, when in the Nazi Germany, the Lutheran Church was used by Hitler's regime, and there were some prophetic voices. One of them was Lutheran pastor Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who was hanged in the very end of the Second World War, but the Nazi regime still managed to execute him as a prophetic voice. So there is this danger of church officials coming too close to the policies of the state, which not always bring the best news. Unfortunately, as we all know, we have closed, well, not unfortunately, but the reality is that we have closed almost all of our borders with Russia, and it also includes our church borders with the Russian Orthodox Church, which is based in Russia. So we don't have any influence of them on them, and they do not have any influence on us. I hope so, at least. I think the process of confessing its sins, the church also has to confess its sins, right? And this process will start right after the war. So the society of the Russian state has to change. The policies of Russian state has to change. And the church of Russia has to change as well. I don't believe it's going to happen, very soon. It will take a lot of time, probably. It will most likely it will take generations. But what we have to do, for this to happen, for this conversion of Russian society, of Russian state, and also of Russian church, we as Europeans have to help Ukraine to have its victory, and the victory of Ukraine will be also our victory, and it will also be spiritual victory. So this is not just, as you said yourself, it's not just a war with rockets, drones, and mines, and grenades and guns. It's a war. It's also a spiritual war. So, and it will take time, probably much longer time than the physical war to change what what needs to be changed.
Thank you. We all believe that the change will take place in the future. The second question is, again, coming from Ukrainian concern. We all know Jesus' words, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God." Matthew 5:9. Very important words for all peacemakers. But during, at least at the beginning of this war, we found out that some people in the West treated these words in a sense of pacifism, and proposed peace as a just absence of fighting, absence of using arms. But it seems to me that the Lord's peace is quite different. And it seems to me that the gospel is not a manual for pacifism. It's for peacemaking, but not pacifism. So,
Thanks so much. I like your theology. So this is a theological question, and I'm glad that we are in the university where theology is being taught as well here, right? So thank you. But yes, you're absolutely right. Jesus Christ said, blessed are the peacemakers. But Jesus also said, you think that I've come to bring peace? No, I've come to bring sword and fire. That's what Jesus said as well. So unfortunately, if we speak about the Bible, about the Holy Scripture, unfortunately we can find in the Bible, basis for also for terrible crimes. And very many so-called Christian leaders, including Vladimir Putin, as we know, has quoted Bible quite extensively. In the same gathering in Moscow in 2022, when the full-scale war started, I have to admit, that's my confession, I watched Vladimir Putin's speech in this stadium in Moscow, and what Vladimir Putin said, he quoted Bible where Jesus Christ says, there is no greater love than the love of somebody who gives his life for his neighbor. So that's a quote from Vladimir Putin. So which means, again, it's a proof that you can use Holy Scripture, you can use Bible, you can use any Holy Scripture by defending your crimes, any crimes. That's unfortunate, and I believe Vladimir Putin has some very highly taught theologians as his advisors as well. But speaking about pacifism, I have friends in Latvia, some few friends who declare, well, we are pacifists. We are never gonna, bear arms, and we are never gonna participate in any wars. I have these kinds of friends as well. I have to accept them as my friends. I don't know how would they act if, God forbid, some action starts happening, for example, in our country. I hope and I pray that it never does. But I also have friends, very good friends, who are army chaplains, who are, in Latvia, serving with their fellow soldiers and also bearing arms, and I deeply honor them. And to say the truth, life itself provides us with the best translation of the Holy Scripture, not some theologians who have graduated from one or other, university or seminary, but life itself teaches us, also what is true Christian theology. And in this time and age, we have to understand that in this case, when an aggression happens to a peaceful country, when aggression happens to a peaceful nation like Russian aggression in Ukraine, a nation, Ukrainian nation, has to bear arms. Ukrainian nation has to defend itself militarily and use each and every means necessary to defend its land. That's how I translate Holy Scripture.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And now Arnis, you have a floor. You are my, I may say, old friend, because we know each other not from today. And I know that you made a lot for this wonderful woman who is a treasure of Latvia. I mean, Lydia Lasmane, long-term political prisoner, a former political prisoner, and a person that defended human dignity, defended freedom. You are also, as a Democrat and as a Christian believer, you know how important these two notions are for people, freedom and human dignity. What is your opinion about the new trend in the world? What is your opinion about the very important change in language? It seems to me that the language of values is substituted slowly with the language of egoism, national, personal, and so on. We see that this phenomena everywhere. So how to restore the understanding that freedom and human dignity is a DNA of the human civilization, and we have to fight for it everywhere and always.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, for me it's an easy question, so it's a joke. It's a joke. Yeah, first about Lydia Lasmane. So Latvia celebrate 100 year she get this year, and still she is giving advice in many directions. So we celebrate with 3 events. Yeah, and we organized as well something like music theater presentation of her life about this book. This is her Fioretti in English. We hope it will be once in Ukraine language as well. And yeah, and what she said in her final words, she said, thank you for you, even for works which you did yet. So this is a little bit in context of this. So my feeling is, because I was 6, now it's my 13th visit in Ukraine. I was 6 times in Calcutta, in India as well. So I'm a little bit connecting with spirituality of Mother Teresa as well. So, and I think what she did in her position is, you know, she said, everybody can do the big things. These organizations about what our ambassador told, and etc. But to do small things, you need a special talent, because you need this vision. You need to see small things. You need to see the small details. And I think these small ethical jobs, the small ethical, how to say, to going on direction when if everybody is going on this direction, you see that you can go in other direction, like you did. And I think this is continue all time through history. So somebody must find possibility to do these small things. Like I told, this victory depends, Ukraine victory depends from small things for small drops. to motivate people that small donation, small help, like we did in a rehabilitation center, that came maybe 25 wounded soldiers, so for them it was free to go and to not. We talk with them. I believe every small drop, every small real ethical action is giving this new direction. But for me, this Ukraine battle, like many told maybe too, is a battle for possibility of civilization world, for possibility of Christian world. And if we talk about Christian voice, maybe me as a very free-thinking Roman Catholic and you as a Greek Catholic, you can know there is such voice. It's a voice of Pope. And for me, sorry, but the Pope is who visited Ukraine. Sorry for such strong message. John Paul II is Pope, and he is who show what means to be Pope. So very soon, I think we will receive next Pope. So Leo, when will come here, for me, he will be the Pope. Because when I was first time in Lviv, I met twice Mr. Archbishop Gallagher, like you. So Gallagher is a foreign ambassador of Vatican. So it was nearby prepared visit of Francis. But sorry for that, but he wanted first to come to Moscow. I don't know why. So Pope must come here. I'm telling this to my bishop too. So, because this will be sign not only for Ukraine, not only for Russia, this will be sign for Christianity, Christian world. This will be sign the Christian world and the Roman Catholic Church want to be, really restart. Christian world must be restarted. Churches must be restarted. Go back to roots. Go back to real Saint Francis idols. So that must be happen. And this is the center of the world, just of civilized world, just here in Ukraine.
There is one more microphone. Your words about small steps, small actions, reminded me the famous parable, the famous story. I tried to explain and to repeat that in English, but I'm not sure that I find proper words. Two frogs happened to find themselves in a bottle. One frog decided that, well, there is no chance, and collapsed. The other one beat it with legs and made, not with water, with milk, yes, made a butter and jumped out of the bottle. So these small steps means, yes, we have to be optimistic. We have to work all the time, not dreaming to change the world immediately, but to change the space around us.
Somehow we will change ourselves, but God will change the world. So this is how it works.
Yes. And one more problem that I found very difficult for Ukrainians, this was the language of political correctness that was creation of Western culture, I understand it was a huge achievement of European culture to live according to win-win principle, and it presupposes that we do not use harsh words. But we are Christians, and we again know that the gospel language and the Jesus language is not a language of political correctness. For example, when I realized that, it was very important to hear that Jesus told to his favorite apostle, Peter, "Get away from me. You think about earthly things, not about godly things." So Jesus was not politically correct. So how Ukrainians have to do? We want to join Western culture, Western civilization, and sometimes we understand that, well, there is something to be changed also there.
Yeah, Archbishop told it upstairs, I think. You are the Western culture. Through you, Western will receive real identity. Because the Western, my feeling, sorry, if somebody think in other way, but just now, Western Europe are in crisis. I was so many times in America too, because Chicago Latvians believes that I will write a book about their history too, so I must go. So my feeling is, so this blood, which is giving soldiers here, is a blood for future, is a blood for real Christianity. So these soldiers are martyrs in my eyes. They are holy people. And sorry, I wrote article too, and as I published this in Latvian Lutheran newspaper, what I think when Francis Pope told not so strange things. So I published this with wounded soldiers from Ukraine. I thought this is a real holy people for me. And and he and all Vatican must remember again John Paul II. So to go through conversion must be everybody, popes, cardinals, bishops, poor people, rich people. That's a real message of Jesus. Convert and you will receive. So real Christianity is not organizations. We need go back to spirit to first centuries, how it was. So, and for world is only this choice to really go back to first story or no story. Because this is imitation of Christ. This is misunderstanding of Christian message. So everybody must convert, from Pope to Cardinal to President. Yes, even myself.
Even, I like that. Yes, please.
Thank you, Arnice. What we see these days in Europe and in Western countries as a whole, the mainland denominations, Christian denominations, are diminishing and getting smaller and smaller in numbers. And we are approaching, and we are still approaching, and it is not, coming to an end, the diminishing of the institutional church as a whole. That's a reality. So, does it mean the end of Christianity? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It means that something new is coming, and I do hope that something better is coming. As a friend of ours, Arnies Šablovskīs, just said, I believe the crisis that the world right now is in means that at least in a spiritual sense of humanity, we are coming back to that kinds of Christianity that was at the very beginning. I don't remember who said this famous quote. Maybe you can remind me, guys. One of the great minds of the 20th century said, "You think that Christianity is done and dead? No, we have not yet tried what is Christianity."
Thank you.
Yeah, Alexander Mann, who was killed in 1990 in Moscow, he told the Christianity just started. We just didn't understand the Christ. So, and I remember from Calcutta, you know, I made a joke with Cardinal of Latvia in this case. So, Mother Teresa founded special dominations, special group for priests who started to live gospel. It's called Corpus Christi movement. And I told to my cardinal, in that time where in the Roman Catholic Church still was not public, scandals. I said, you know, Mother Teresa had a dream to convert priests to God. So he will think about, he said, and you can't understand how important it is.
If I may be just I'm not representing religious institutions or religious thinkers, more from the practical experience, going back and forth about your challenges and about Putin's Russia. I just want to give one very blunt example. Imagine a month ago, or maybe 2 months ago, Putin signed a decree about withdrawing Russia from the European Convention on elimination of torture. You know, this is what Europe is about. It's about legal security, it's about human rights, it's about human dignity. And the leader of this country is bringing back, deliberately, bringing back Russia to the Gulag archipelago, back to the Middle Ages in the worst sense of the word. And I think this is something what has to be processed and understood. And this is what kind of hell your prisoners of war are going through, and the world should know this. You also, just maybe one little example that we are not completely helpless. You asked about Russian veto. We cannot do anything about it. No, this is not true. Just when aggression started 3 years ago, the rules of the Security Council were very simple. P5 member puts a veto, and this is just end of conversation. Just shut up and leave the room. That was the working method of the council. When we saw that Russia is completely disregarding, despising the charter of the UN, upon initiative of a tiny Liechtenstein, tiny, one of the smallest members of the UN, ambassador of Liechtenstein, who has been in Lviv a few months ago, he initiated a change of the working methods. And smaller countries, about 130 countries, supported and voted for that. We changed the rule of procedure, and now every time veto is cast, it's not the end of the story. Within 10 days, the subject goes to the chamber, to the General Assembly, and we have a full debate. And everyone has a right to express opinion. Everyone has a right to ask right of reply. And it has been used a few times. So P5 members cannot anymore just finish the story. And this is just an example. What one of the smallest members can initiate And if we have collective action and we have collective passion, we can change that. And Russia cannot, we have isolated Russia on a 50 plus cases of elections, and same for Belarus. Isolating them, not letting them to get elected to UNESCO, to the World Council on Aviation, on Maritime, etc., etc. So ongoing battle with passion, with perseverance, with collective action, we can win those battles.
Thank you very much. Now I open the general discussion. Maybe there are some questions to our speakers. Please take a floor. Other, yes.
Labvakar. My name is Georgi. My mom is actually Latvian, and my grandmother was born in Kurzeme. And as a young person, I'm quite concerned that our generation, including me before the full-scale invasion, were consuming a lot of Russian content, including music, literature, movies, TV shows, vloggers, and so on. I believe that the same problem might be in Latvia, because even if we take Daugavpils, 45% of Daugavpils are Russians. So do Latvia has such a problem of youth consuming the Russian content, not only youth, but all the different kinds of people who are Latvians? There is such a problem, and maybe you have practical tips on how we can overcome this imperialism of Russia in the field of culture. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. It's a very big, very important subject. Of course, when we regained independence in 1991, as you know, we have been very strongly Russified by the Soviet authorities. So it's been one of the biggest challenges to create or recreate Latvian political nation. And of course, from the early days, we put a big emphasis on learning and teaching Latvian state language. When we regained independence, I would say among ethnic minorities, maybe 2/3 didn't speak the language at all. And unfortunately, in Riga, in Liepāja, in Daugavpils, in Jelgava, 7 or 8 largest cities, we had big pockets of people not fluent in the language. And a big part of these people were not citizens of Latvia because they came during the Soviet time. Now, one generation has passed, 33 years. Most of these people are citizens now. We still have about 100,000 people who are permanent residents, but they are not citizens. They are not eligible to vote. Most of them are elderly people, but there are some young people as well. Now, I would say that majority, absolute majority of these people are fluent. You can have they speak with accent, but they can get by in Latvian. But this mental poisoning from Putin is a phenomenon which we see. Of course, war has polarized these people as well. I would say 1/3 of them are supporting Ukraine strongly. Probably 1/3 is passive, neutral. And I would say I don't know, nobody knows the exact numbers, but there are some who are kind of silent supporters of Putin's philosophy. It's difficult to challenge them, but we believe that focus on the national language is very important. We are trying to strengthen that. We are trying to integrate schools, minority schools, more within the mainstream education system. Of course, I would say that these people, they are mostly believe that they belong to Latvia and belong to Europe. There is no big movement of people to Russia. There are some individuals, but few of them. But we believe that it is a national security problem. It is important to cultivate that. Particularly Eastern Latvia is a region where we believe that. I go there myself. My roots are in some parts of that region. We try to do outreach communication with them, but it takes time. It takes time, and it takes a lot of proactive efforts on behalf of the state, on behalf of municipalities. And of course, we are also learning from some of your experience here that we cannot be complacent, we cannot be passive. Nation building it's like building a temple. It never ends. You have to garden and you have to cultivate that. Of course, we put some restrictions on the Russian content, but we are not. We don't censor anything what is Russian written in Russian. One of our publishing houses published recently 900 pages of testimonies of Ukrainian prisoner of war, Alexei Anulia from Chernihiv, who spent 1 year in Russian captivity. Deliberately, we published it in Russian because we believe that this book needs to find the way to the Russian-speaking people. You know, they have to know exactly what is taking place in the Russian prisons, in the Russian camps. So, delicate subject, controversial subject, heatedly debated in the Latvian society. Of course, war polarizes politicians as well. But I think it's one of the most important battles for the hearts and minds of these people.
Thank you very much.
My feeling is becoming better. So I was in theater. This title Siberian Haiku. It is puppet theater, and I was together with 3 classes, Russian classes. So it was complete silence. It was possibility to stay for discussion, like here. 2/3 of public stayed, and 1/3, when it was going out, they said, "Oh, it's really hard story." So this puppet theater, this message really worked. So, yeah, it was positive shock for me. It's real dialogue through culture.
Yes, it's most definitely, it takes time, and we are 35 years in Latvia as an independent country, but we still have lots of Russian radio stations. We still, I don't know how many. I do not watch TV because just I don't see any reason to watch TV. But I do know that there are still some Russian channels, I believe so, on our TV. But thankfully, well, in the long run, so to say, I do not believe in censorship. In the long run, I do not believe in the censorship. But I do believe that there are certain situations in the world that we do need to take out deliberately, and maybe even sometimes violently take out some channels of disinformation. So, and that's, as far as I know, what the Latvian government has also in the recent years done. I don't know the numbers, how many channels have been taken out, but you have to, you can check it, but there are some channels, both in radio and TV, that have been taken out due to the fact that they have had this Russian propaganda. And just to add something, just in recent month, I know that, well, as Mr. Ambassador said, our Latvian state tries to expand the knowledge of the Latvian language for Russian-speaking people. But the fact also is that I believe last month or some 2 months ago, some 800 people in Latvia who have refused to pass Latvian language exams have been issued, have been issued papers that they need to leave Latvia. So, and I don't know if they are already in Russia, but these have been, either Russian citizens or so-called non-citizens, if they do not, if they have not managed to learn the language in the very basic level for the time of 35 years, so we consider it, not honoring the land and the country that they live in, and they have been issued these papers that oblige them to leave the country. That's also the reality.
And it's only 800. It's only, I can. It's only, and we have in Latvian culture young Russian filmmakers, and in other culture persons who are very, very pro-Latvian, who are very pro-Ukraine. So this really divided this. They are in theater, and many people, many Russians, culture leaders who came to Latvia, and even journalists. So they change a little bit atmosphere in Latvia. So they are pro-Latvians, they are pro-Europeans, they are pro-Ukrainians. So yeah, this is very, very fruitful processing is going on, I think.
Very interesting, very important for us. Any other questions from the audience? No? I have the question to you. Maybe you would like to add something, because we are going to the end of our discussion. Maybe you have some messages you would like to deliver.
Well, I think the message from Latvia is very, very simple. It's probably the darkest time of the year right now, but the light will come. The light will come. We just need to persevere through these coming weeks and months, and we have to work with like-minded, good friends. Ukraine has a lot of good friends, and it's important to mobilize them in all parts of the world. Of course, neighbors are important, but the struggle we believe it should go on. And we see Ukraine as part of European family, as a part of European Union, as a part of NATO. The work might take some time. Will be a few bumps, a few valleys and mountains, but I think they are surpassable. And from Latvian experience, European Union is not perfect, and a lot of things have to be reformed, but it's still the best, safest family what we can have. Same goes for NATO. And we are happy to share our mistakes, our positive experience with you, and we will struggle with you side by side till the victory. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, my message is thank you, and thank you, and thank you. So the Eucharistia means thank you too. So my first message, my first mission to come here was this prayer chapels in front of Eucharistia in front of Blessed Sacrament. So, and I believe that praying can change, God can change. So we need spend time just in silence, more in praying. And you are the future of the world. You are the future of Christianity. You are the future of Europe, European Union. Which is the strongest army in Europe now? You know answer. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And my thank you will be illustrated by a short true story. Last summer was my first time in Ukraine, and with another friend we went to many places really close to the front line, really close. And I told also this story yesterday to the Ukrainian soldiers. And one very dark night, we took our car, and the driver, turned off the lights. We had to switch off our mobile phones because we were so close to the front line. And we went to a certain place where the soldiers were spending night in a bunker. And in this bunker, the next moment when we came in this underground bunker, they brought in another soldier who was trembling and crying, and he was not, he was in very bad shape. Why? Because just some few moments ago, his comrade, another soldier right next to him, was killed, died by a gunfire. And what happened next? The commander of his unit, and I saw this with my own eyes, and I'm still, feeling this emotion. His commander, who was not a pastor, he was not a clergy, he was not a chaplain, he was just his higher up, so to say, by rank. And in my opinion, he did the best pastoral work as I don't think that Roman Pope would have done the better work as this, officer of Ukrainian army, as a chaplain, as also as a pastor, as a human being. So that was my most significant experience of what tragic times, of what war can bring up in humans, also in a very positive way. The qualities of love, the qualities of helping each other, the qualities of true Christianity. And you don't have to be a pastor, you don't have to be a clergy, you don't have to be a chaplain. We are just human beings. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And I would like to close our talk with the following vision. We just opened the exhibition, and there was an interesting moment that after you showed us an example of this Baltic way, we almost immediately had the replica in our democratic movement, and I was part of that. I was also standing, keeping hands. I remember there was a vision that step by step, all countries of all nations of the Soviet Union will join EU. Well, European nations will join EU. So we had a feeling that we are standing in a long queue to Brussels to the European Union. Later, we understood that it is not the case, that the whole Eastern European space has to be reformed. Because having this installation with Russia, we cannot do that. So I don't know how future will look like and what will be created instead of the previous pattern of Eastern European space. But what I am sure that values will be in the basis of this new paradigm, new structure, new pattern of Eastern Europe. And it seems to me that all nations that will be faithful to values will be part of this transformation, huge transformation. That's why we Ukrainians do not expect that we will be alone. We know that you will be with us. We know that other Baltic states at least will be with us in this transformation. Yes, and I know that God will be with us, because we do not want to create this new space on hatred, on violence and lies, vice versa. So let me finish with that hope and that vision. Thank you very much for participation.